March 3rd Blue Springs City Council meeting. We're going to have an invocation by Pastor Louis Lowe at First Christian Church, and then Council Member Edmondson will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll stand with me.
Will you pray with me? Heavenly Father, we ask your blessing upon this City Council meeting today. We pray that you fill this room with your wisdom, your guidance, your goodness, your grace. We are thankful for the committed service of those who have accepted the responsibility of public office, and pray that you would give them discernment and guidance in the discussions they facilitate, the decisions they make. Bring us all together today through the power of your Holy Spirit as we discern our way forward together as a community. All of this we ask in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You can be seated. Thank you, Pastor Lowe and Councilmember Edmondson. I will now call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is confirmation of a quorum.
Councilmember Kaler.
Present.
Councilmember Tholen.
Present.
Councilmember Brummel.
Present.
Councilmember Erickson.
Present.
Councilmember Edmondson.
Here.
Councilmember Culpepper.
Present.
Mayor Levison.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Next item is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Thaler.
Aye.
Thank you. Tholen.
Aye.
Brummel.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Edmondson.
Aye.
Culpepper.
Aye.
Mayor Levison.
Aye.
Carried unanimously.
All right, we're going to change the agenda a little bit. We had put the presentation about the Blue Springs Parks and Recreation Awards at the end, but we're going to move that up since that's why most of you in the room are here, and we appreciate all of you being here. Always nice to have a full room. So we're going to celebrate today. Several of the elected officials and staff went down to Branson because the Blue Springs Park and Recreation Department were named the Large Class 1 Agency of the Year by the Missouri Parks and Recreation Association. So congratulations to all of them. I think that deserves a round of applause. Just for informational purposes, Class 1 is the largest category. It includes all municipalities and county departments with a population of more than 50,000. The application process required that excellence be demonstrated in parks and recreation in 10 key criteria categories. In addition to that, a little bit of a surprise to him was Mr. Derek Maiden, also Superintendent of Parks Recreation, was awarded, what were you awarded? The Distinguished Service Award. Congratulations, Derek, as well, for your service. Thank you for your service. He has been serving here in Blue Springs for nearly 10 years in the park system. The application for this award required that the nominee has exhibited contributions to the profession through service above and beyond normal requirements, outstanding leadership, and development of innovative ideas and facilities. So I think we all know that you exhibit those qualities here, Derek, so congratulations and thank you for being here. Also, I don't know if the 4 members are here. 4 members of our park maintenance team completed the state level competed at the state level in maintenance rodeo that was held during the conference. The team finished second place in the regional competition to earn a spot in the state finals, where they competed against the top teams in other regions around the state. The maintenance rodeo is comprised of challenges that test their skills and equipment and operations and construction. Are any of those 4 members here? Can you stand? Go ahead and stand up. Let us recognize you. Congratulations. Great job. We appreciate you being here. And it's not on my script, but because I was there, I know that also our very own Dennis Doval, Double D as he was indicated there at the conference, is also the incoming MPRA president. So congratulations, Dennis, for your service. I guess that means no matter what happens this year, we still have to go next year for your party and your, final conference as well. So that'll be fun. We just get to follow you around for a couple of years. So thank you for letting us do that. Does any council members have any comments? Anybody that attended or have anything else to add? Councilmember Kaler.
I'm in a few words here, but
Make them good ones then.
we do have a jam-up, top-notch parks department. And kudos to you all that participated and have everything that you all do, because without you guys, we wouldn't have what we have today. And I just appreciate you guys big time. And congratulations.
Absolutely.
Your Honor. It's
Councilmember Erickson.
really fun to once again say ditto, Jerry.
Well, I will ditto those comments as well. We greatly appreciate all the hard work you guys do. You make the city look good. You give the residents of this city something to do besides just sit at home and watch TV. So we appreciate you providing those resources, those facilities in the community, and at such a high quality level. It really makes Blue Springs, just puts us on the map compared to the region and the state, really, in a big way. So appreciate you. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for letting us welcome you and recognize you. So thank you again. Council, I think we're going to do a picture. You wanna go down? If you guys want to come on up, we're going to snap you a photo of you, whether you knew it or not.
Rows, tight. Rows. Keep coming in.
We'll give them a time to exit before we jump right back in here. Thank you again for coming. All right, next item on the agenda is a public hearing for our tax increment financing and our economic development incentives. I
Mayor,
don't
this-
know. Go ahead.
The city has one exhibit to enter into the record. City Council information form dated February 12, 2025, with the following attachments. Notice of public hearing is published in the Examiner on February 1, February 8, February 15th, and February 22, 2025, and tax increment financing and economic development update presentation. This is all we have to offer for the record.
All right, looks like maybe Karen from the city will be sworn in.
Yes.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. This is the 11th annual update.
We can't.
Test.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, try this again. Good evening, Mayor and council members. This is the 11th annual update of the tax increment financing projects and other economic development projects within the city, including the South Area Neighborhood Improvement District. The guidance for this requirement of this public hearing is section 99.865 of Missouri statutes. These updates ensure that compliance with the statute that requires an update every 5 years on TIFs is ensured. By providing an annual update, we will meet this requirement and also provide more frequent updates of the status of the TIFs and other economic development projects. These first few slides include maps of the economic incentive districts within the city organized by their location. They include tax increment financing districts, 353 redevelopment project districts, transportation development districts, and community improvement districts, as well as Chapter 100 bonds. These maps are available for viewing on the city's website, along with additional maps that show the different sales tax rates throughout the city. The only change to this slide is the removal of the Copperleaf Village TIF as it terminated during fiscal year 2024. The map on the left represents the downtown Blue Springs CID, and there were no changes from the prior year to this particular map. And the map on the right is the Colonial Garden CID, which was activated during 2024, and that tax went into effect October 1st of 2024, so the revenues will begin being recognized during fiscal year 2025. This map includes all of the districts that you just saw on the individual maps, only it encompasses the entire city. As you noticed previously, they're a little bit difficult to read, but again, they can all be viewed on the city's website. This chart includes the active and completed TIF projects. The debt percentage reimbursed has been updated, and the pay-as-you-go TIFs now include the interest accrual as well. For the Woods Chapel TIF, the total project cost reimbursed to the developer by the TIF is limited to 50% of the certified costs, as a grocery store was not constructed at that location. So the developer has been fully reimbursed per the agreement, and the city now receives 100% of those revenues effective 2023. As previously stated, the Copperleaf Village TIF terminated per ordinance 5355 on August 19th, 2024. Since 2019, we have terminated 5 TIFs, including the Mullet Fall Creek and 3 different project areas within the 7 and 40 TIFs. The Copperleaf Village TIF was only reimbursed 58% due to the lack of retail sales tax generating businesses within the district, and the TIF was limited to an 18-year term, so it has since met that term and therefore is being terminated for that purpose. That district did increase its assessed value by more than 108% over that 18-year period. However, that still fell well below the projection of the $2.4 million in the original plan. The amount that remained unpaid on this TIF was $3.6 million of certified costs plus interest, and that liability has been written off the city's books, and you will That'll be reported in the audit that'll be presented next week, or the next meeting at council. This table includes the active community improvement district within the cities and the percent of project costs that have been reimbursed for each one. You'll notice Woods Chapel is on here, so the same situation that I indicated about the TIF applies to the CID as well. So the developer was fully reimbursed that 50%, and the city is now receiving the 100% until we're fully paid. And the White Oak CID revenue is transferred to the TIF to pay down the bonds. The percent reimbursed on this chart is the total of the TIF and the CID revenue. Fall Creek CID sales tax became effective October 1st, 2018, with original incentive of $1.7 million, which was to include a movie theater. Without that theater, this was reduced to $844,000, but added $250,000 in district services. All certified costs submitted of $494,000 have been fully reimbursed, and $48,000 has been paid toward that $250,000 in district services. Sunset Plaza certified $953,000 in September 2020, while North Blue Springs certified $5.2 million that same month. Both accrue interest and are paid to the developer on a monthly basis. And then finally, Colonial Garden sales tax became effective October 1st of 24. That sales tax will be held until the extension of Wyatt East is completed and city capital costs have been certified. This table details the revenues and expenditures for the downtown Blue Springs CID for the last 4 fiscal years. As of the end of 2024, the CID has about $136,000 cash available for district operating and project costs. The Whataburger reimbursement agreement was approved via Ordinance 5019 on July 7th, 2021 for construction of public improvements at 7 and South Outer Road. Total certified costs were $581,000. Reimbursements for this are paid from property taxes, the general fund sales tax of 1%, and the 0.5% transportation sales tax. And those taxes are returned to the company since they were the ones that did this project. This project accrues interest and quarterly payments are made with a current ending balance of $523,000. The next 2 slides contain the active and inactive Chapter 100 bond projects. Currently, the city has 5 active agreements. First, Kohl's has a total projected abatement of $305,808. The 2024 abatement was $10,504. Next, Forcia has 2 separate abatements, one for the project site and improvements. The total projected abatement of that one was $11.3 million, with a 2024 abatement of $875,000. For the project equipment, the total projected abatement is $3.8 million, with a 24 abatement of $488,000. Dervet had a total projected abatement of $1.6 million, with a 24 abatement of $154,000. And finally, Blue Springs Logistics had an estimated abatement of $5.6 million, with a 24 abatement of $539,000. Of the inactive Chapter 100 projects, 3 have expired terms, 1 has been terminated, and 1 was fully paid prior to the end of the lease term. The next two slides contain the active and inactive Chapter 353 projects. There are currently 5 active projects, and there were no new projects in 2024. The tax abatement for the Harmon Tract of the Adams Point Redevelopment Corporation project ended, and the property was fully taxed for the 2024 tax year, which would be 2025 fiscal year. And the 2024 tax year is the last year of abatement for the hotel tract of that same project. Of the inactive Chapter 353 projects, 6 have expired terms, 1 has been terminated, and 1 was never activated. This is a map of the Main Center Redevelopment Corporation. There are 7 active 353 projects on this one. It appears that it looks like there are only 6, but the one that's farthest toward the top, that's kind of the backward L, that's actually 2 different projects, so that's where the 7th one comes in. And again, this map also can be found on the city's website. As stated, there were no new MCRC projects in '24, and Hannah's Place ended in '23 and is fully taxable in 2024. The South Area Neighborhood Improvement District bonds are scheduled to be repaid in 2029. There have been no changes to this slide in the last several years. The 2024 assessments for the Neighborhood Improvement District were added to 1,967 parcels, affecting 1,139 different property owners. That is an increase of 174 parcels, or 9.7% over 2023, due to parcels associated with new development. As of the end of fiscal year 2024, 21,427 remains unpaid as of September 30th. That's excluding the properties that are held by the land bank. And again, this is the map of the NID as of September 30th of 24. The parcels in red are held by the land bank and are still available for sale. The parcels in blue were on the Wyatt Road for the Southern Jackson County Fire Department, and the projects that were in green are parkland. So this concludes the TIF and Economic Development update, and I would be happy to answer questions if you have them.
Is there any questions for staff from the council? Councilmember Colbert.
Yes, can you talk about the, on your tax increment financing for the south area, the 21,427 prior year assessments that are remaining unpaid? Is that's individual properties?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions from the council? I had a quick question on the Whataburger reimbursement agreement. When do we expect, is there an expiration date for that? Or do we have any anticipated completion of that agreement? Sorry, I thought of that ahead of time, I would have asked. So.
That's okay.
I just noticed it in the presentation, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the timeline of that,
Okay.
but we can get back to you with that information.
It looks like it's about $5,000 a year or something that
Right.
it eats away in the principal.
Yep.
Okay.
And they're receiving the quarterly payment, so, and that's it with the interest being accrued. That's
Perfect. All right, any other questions, comments from the council before I go to the audience? Okay. Does anyone in the audience like to speak in support of? Anyone like to speak in opposition to? All right, any council comments before I close the public hearing? No?
I will.
Councilmember Edmondson, what do you got?
I know Karen's disappointed that we lost her crowd to not to hear this
Yeah,
thrilling report.
We'll go with
But
that.
thank you for
Financial
doing that every
incentives,
year, and you do real well with it, so. Don't be disappointed that they all left and went home.
It wasn't you, Karen, it was me. It's all right.
Okay, appreciate that.
All right, I will close the public hearing. I think we need any action on that tonight, so this next item on the agenda is our public comment. We don't have any speaker appearance forms. This is the section of the agenda. If you have any comment on items on the agenda this evening. Since I don't see any, then we will move on to item number 6, introduction and reading of Bill 5292, approving amendment for Code of Ordinances related to fireworks. Do I have an introduction?
I'll introduce it.
First reading of bill number 5292, an ordinance amending sections 235.020B and C of the Code of Ordinances, City of Blue Springs, Missouri, relating to the provisions for storage, licensing, and selling of fireworks, to require proof of consent from the legal owner of the property for the fireworks stand location, and to require applicants to notify the city in writing if the location of the fireworks stand changes after city council approval.
Move the bill be approved on its first reading and proceed to the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Motion approved, second reading.
Second reading of bill number 5292, an ordinance amending sections 235.020B and C of the Code of Ordinances, City of Blue Springs, Missouri, relating to provisions for storage, licensing, and selling of fireworks, to require proof of consent from the legal owner of the property for the fireworks stand location, and to require applicants to notify the city in writing if the location of the fireworks stand changes after city council approval.
Your Honor, move to approve the second reading and provide the proper ordinance number.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Tholen,
Aye.
Brummel,
Aye.
Erickson,
Aye.
Edmondson,
Aye.
Culpepper,
Aye.
Kaler,
Aye.
Mayor Levesey.
Aye.
Carried unanimously, given ordinance number 5397.
Next is item 7, introduction and reading of Bill 5293, a contract with Jackson Lewis.
I'll introduce it.
First reading of bill number 5293, an ordinance approving a contract for legal services between the City of Blue Springs and the law firm of Jackson Lewis PC.
I move the bill be approved on its first reading and proceed to the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Motion passes, second reading.
Second reading of bill number 5293, an ordinance approving a contract for legal services between the City of Blue Springs and the law firm of Jackson Lewis PC.
Your Honor, move to approve the second reading and provide the proper ordinance number.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Brummel,
Aye.
Erickson,
Aye.
Edmondson,
Aye.
Culpepper,
Aye.
Kaler,
Aye.
Dolan,
Aye.
Mayor Levesey.
Aye.
Carried unanimously, given ordinance number 5398.
Next is item 8, bill number 5294, authorizing and directing the issuance of general obligation bonds.
I'll introduce it.
First reading of bill number 5294, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $40 million principal amount of the general obligation bonds, Series 2025 of the City of Blue Springs, Missouri, and authorizing certain other documents and actions by the city.
Move the bill be approved on its first reading and proceed to the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Councilmember Culpepper.
I just want to emphasize the fact that this is one of those things, we went to the city, and the city granted us the privilege of issuing these bonds, and we are really working hard to do a good job of putting the money out there where it should be. Obviously, it's dedicated funding, it can't go anywhere else, but it's in the works, and I think it's important that people recognize we are following through with what we said we would do.
I appreciate you mentioning that, Councilmember Culpepper. I was going to emphasize that as well. This is the first round of bonds that are the voter-approved election we had in August of last year. This is what will go to pay for the $10 million of just straight street maintenance. Will give us 52 miles of street maintenance this year alone, this calendar year, and this is what authorizes us to do that. So it's a big deal, and I appreciate you singling that out. Any other comments? We're still on first reading, right? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Motion passes, second reading.
Second reading of bill number 5294, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $40 million principal amount of general obligation bonds, Series 2025 of the City of Blue Springs, Missouri, and authorizing certain other documents and actions by the city.
Your Honor, move to approve the second reading and provide the proper ordinance number.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Erickson?
Aye.
Edmondson?
Aye.
Culpepper?
Aye.
Taylor?
Aye.
Dolan?
Aye.
Brummel?
Aye.
Mayor Levacy?
Aye.
Carried unanimously, given ordinance number 5399.
All right, next item is a presentation. We have the Griffin Riley Group that is going to talk to us about property on Adamsbury Parkway. I believe Mr. Mallon is going to kick us off.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to go over a little bit of a history as to how we got here this evening. Tonight you will hear a presentation from Griffin Riley Property Group regarding their response to the request for proposals that was issued by the city back in July of '24 for the city-owned 23-acre property on Adamsbury Parkway south of St. Luke's. As many of you are aware, there's quite a bit of history on this property. The property was originally purchased in between 2010 and 2012 for the Missouri Innovation Park. The total cost of the property at that time was $2.3 million. After discussions about the Missouri Innovation Park ended, the property had been considered for a number of other uses, including potentially a community center and possible relocation for Fike. However, both of those never materialized. In October of '23, City Council approved Ordinance 5262 declaring the property surplus and to issue a request for proposals for a development that directly was aimed at job creating and in line with the original Adamsbury Parkway corridor plan. We only received one response to that RFP, and that RFP did not, City Council determined that the response did not meet the intent of the job creating development. Therefore, staff was directed to issue a new RFP that was broader in scope to include restaurant, retail, service, or office development, mixed use, and the willingness to consider high-quality multifamily residential. Therefore, again, in July of '24, the council declared the property surplus again and directed staff to solicit offers for sales and development with a minimum sale price of $2.17 million based upon a recent appraisal. A subsequent addendum to that RFP was posted on October 14th of '24, extending the deadline to December 3rd, 2024. We posted the RFP on July 18th, and the RFP was also directly emailed to over 50 development firms at both the national and regional scale. We received two proposals, one from Griffin Riley and the other from another development firm. The RFP review team consisted of 8 voting members, including Mayor Levacy, council members Erickson, Tholen, and Brummel, City Administrator Christine Cates, Assistant City Administrator Devin Stovall, Economic Development Council Member Zachary Harrell, and myself. The RFP review team met with both development teams on February 10th, and the Griffin Riley Property Group proposal received the highest score. Following the presentation, there is for council consideration a resolution designating the developer, authorizing city staff to enter into a funding agreement, and negotiate a development performance and sale agreement that will outline the city and the developer's respective obligations and establish the standards and conditions governing the development of the subject property. I'm happy to answer any questions before turning it over to Griffin Riley.
Any questions for Mr. Mallon from the council? All right, thank you, sir. Guess it's you guys are up next.
Where is it?
Hello, good evening, Mr. Mayor and esteemed members of the City Council. My name is Matt Tapp. I'm Director of Acquisitions and Entitlements for Griffin Riley Property Group, which basically means that I identify opportunities and make them happen. So that's why I'm standing here before you. To my right here is Jake Lovelace, our Vice President. And before I kick things off, a couple of things. I am wearing my Royals colors tonight because my boys in blue are playing pretty darn well in spring ball. So I'm really hoping that they do really well this year. I'm a big fan of the Royals. I'm also a very big fan of Blue Springs. We spent some time here working with city staff and council members, and we're extremely excited to be here tonight. I want to first thank city staff, the review committee, the mayor and council tonight for your time listening to our proposal. A little bit about us, real quick. If you haven't heard of us, we totally understand. We are Griffin Riley Property Group. We're a full-service commercial real estate development company based out of Lee Summit, doing work around the Kansas City metropolitan area and beyond. Our number one goal is treating our clients and our friends like family, because that's the most important thing that we're doing. Our vision, bring most reputable, distinctive products to as many communities as possible. Our mission is doing the right thing. You can see our values, and we stand by these on a daily basis. Next slide, please, Josh. So a little bit more detail. I already covered the top part. We were founded in 2017. We have in our possession, either in past, present, or current, 2.1 million square feet in real estate assets. We have 75 plus years of experience amongst the senior management team, Jake, myself, and then Fred DeLibero, who will cover the team here in a little bit. We are extremely firm believers in a team approach. We all work together to strive for our goals. We have 21 projects across different asset classes right now. We have delivered over 1,875 units of residential, and then our total portfolio value is around $456 million, whether we've sold, whether we have it in current asset or we're pursuing it. Again, we have the experience and expertise to operate and manage this type of project, this type of delivery. We have the ability to finance in-house. We have strong banks, strong partners on the financing side. Again, we have experience in programming and operating them. And then our approach, I feel, is a little unique in that we are a small but yet mighty team, and we firmly believe that our development should cohesively jive with the area. Next slide. And to that point, we firmly believe in community engagement. We appreciate neighbors in the community, and we value those conversations, and we listen to them, and we look to find resolutions, working with elected officials, neighbors, and staff to deliver the absolute best product for that site. The history: Fred DeLibero started in 2002, started Summit Custom Homes, and in 2016 he sold that to Clayton Properties, and then in 2016-17 he formed Griffin Riley Property Group, and that is who we are. That is Fred. Won't go to a whole lot of detail. Numerous years of experience across the KC Metro, both commercial and residential. Next. Jake. He began work with Fred at Summit, moved over to Griffin Riley when it was formed. Been there ever since, leading the cause. Then myself, I have a little over 20 years, both on the public and now private side, working in the community development and economic development, and now purely in development. So a little bit about our portfolio, kind of give you an experience, feeling for what we have out there. Out in Eastern Lee Summit, 50 Highway in Blackwell, we have our Blackwell Collection. It's a master mixed-use development, around $105 million project at 50 Highway in the Blackwell interchange. The review committee and maybe some other folks have been out there and had a chance to walk around, even though it's a very active construction site, got a chance to see really the level of quality, fit and finish, inside and out, and our design as a whole. And then also on the south part of this, so we'll cover the shops first. Shops at Blackwell is the retail, the red outlined area in the upper portion. Right now we have slated for a single building, 37,000 square feet, but we could always carve off a pad site or two depending on who comes to us. And then the residences at Blackwell is what you visited, or the review committee visited, to see the clubhouse, which is the lower kind of left-hand picture. And that's a little bit an older picture. There's a lot more activity happening there. And then to the right, you see the construction site, and then our rendering of our typical garden-style apartment building, and then the clubhouse above that. Next slide. The other two facets are the Reunion at Blackwell, which is our active adult villa townhome product with its own clubhouse, and then the Reserve at Blackwell, which I'm really personally very excited to see how it performs, but that is our single-family build-to-rent product. So that's in the green outline area. Because we had an existing neighborhood to the west and north, kind of left and right, or up above and to the right of the map, and we felt like we wanted to match use for use, single family to single family. So those are single family units for rent. Super popular, extremely growing in popularity as well with Kansas City, especially in the southern, southwest areas and southern areas. Next slide. This is our luxury townhome product in Raymore. If you're familiar with the geography of Raymore, you have I-49 and then North Cass Parkway and then Dean Avenue. You can see the picture on the right-hand side. That is a $39 to $40 million project, fully leased up, has performed magnificently, And it's just been going really well. Next slide. Another product of Raymore on the east side of Raymore on 58, if you go through the S curve as it's called in Raymore, and on the east side going out towards Southern Lee Summit, we have Ascend, and that is about a $25 million project. It's geared more towards a little bit more workforce housing, but it's inline townhomes as well as, I call them over-unders, but we have two different kind of types of products there, both of a high level quality fit and finish inside and out with its own clubhouse, a pool, and other amenities. And we should be getting leasing up pretty soon, right, Jake? Like now, basically. So if you have any family, friends, or anyone else that's looking to live in Raymore, we'd love to talk to them. And kind of what started all on the least denser multifamily side of Griffin Riley is the residences, the Echelon. We also visited that place as well during our visit with the review committee. And that was built in 2020, 2021 was when lease up was. It was around a $40 million project. Full pool, outdoor pool. You kind of see in the lower right-hand side. You got 3-4 stories, full amenity clubhouse. Next slide. And then as we mentioned, Summit Homes, we have a tremendous amount of experience on the single family side as we continue to find sites across the KC Metro for that as well. Next slide. And then covering our commercial portfolio, we have Oak Tree Commons on 50 Highway in Eastern Lee Summit. That is around 18,000 square foot multi-tenant retail commercial center, fully leased up, was completed in 2017. Very successful project. Next slide. And then Meadowland Commons in Western Olathe off 7 Highway and Harold or 127th Street. That's again about 18,000 square foot multi-tenant commercial building, fully leased, was completed in 2016. Okay, so the site that we're talking about, for those that may not be familiar, you have the Adams Dairy Landing Commercial Center to the north, on the very upper end of the site, or of the map. And then you have Artie Mize and the St. Luke's Outpatient Facility. The site is just south of there along Adams Dairy Parkway, around 23.28, give or take, acres. Next slide. As we looked at the site, we really want to think about what had the greatest impact for the community, because we love the site, the great view out to the golf course. And so we came up with this development plan where we have commercial, retail, office, flex mix buildings up in the front. So we have one building and a second building. And those total together, I want to say, I can't quite see, it's not very clear, but I want to say it's around 24,000 square feet total, give or take. And then behind that, we have our luxury style apartments directly in line, very similar to our Blackwell product. When you went there and saw it, you touched it, felt it. Extremely luxurious clubhouse, full amenities, outdoor. I would almost want to live there just to have the swim up bar and having the outdoor amenities and activities and the indoor amenities as well. It's about 322 residential apartment units across 6 buildings, all around 4 stories, give or take, on the topography and lay of the ground, with tuck under garages. Very distinctive, we call it Class A+, but the absolute top echelon of product type and quality. Next slide. What I also like to do, what we like to do as well, is think about, okay, look at the comprehensive plan. What are the goals and objectives outlined by that plan? And then say, okay, we're checking these off. So just going through the list, again, congrats to the Parks and Rec Department. That's a phenomenal accomplishment. It's an extremely important aspect and facet of local communities. And so with the link, we are proposing an entire loop of trail around our site that would link up to the public sidewalks and be a real true amenity for the community. Neighborhoods and gathering places in our retail centers, we pride ourselves in locating areas where folks can gather with their family, friends, and whatnot. So we have that. Breathing new life into old corridors. I wouldn't call Adams Dairy Parkway old, but it certainly has some experience behind its belt. But placing a vibrant mixed-use project along that corridor would really reinvigorate activity in that corridor, bring high net worth, high income individuals to the area to spend their money at the community in Adams Landing. The city image, creating distinctive places along corridors, check. Grow and diversify business. So as we attract these users in the retail office portion, they will employ people, and those folks will then in turn create a ripple effect across the community. support entrepreneurs and small business development. We love we love working with our local businesses and providing space for them and helping them to expand, grow in an area. And then housing choice. I really commend the City of Blue Springs of bringing this into the comprehensive plan, but with luxury level residences and full scale amenities, we are delivering house choice for a ton of folks. We call it the bookends of demographics. You've got the downsizers that are looking for a lock and leave approach to where they can just lock their door, go to KCI and fly wherever they choose. And then we've got the younger, the sinks and dinks, as we call them. Sinks and dinks are the gold mine of retail. Single income, no kids, and dual income, no kids. Those are the exact folks that the users you want to attract to Blue Springs, they salivate over the opportunity to tap into that potential. Next slide. In order to make this truly distinctive Class A+ product happen, we have to look at it and think about, okay, how do we supplement it? And I call it public investment. Others would call it incentives. But to the presentation before, talking about Chapter 100 industrial revenue bonds, we can also apply that to residential projects and retail commercial. So we're proposing, it's called sales tax exemption on construction materials, or STECM, STECM, and then pilot payments with biennial increases for the residential, and then the retail office locking in the same Chapter 100 rate along with a sales tax exemption, and then a 1% community improvement district, CID. We get this all the time. Why incentives? And I'd love to answer this question. Since 2019, I would even say this number is even larger, but our construction costs have skyrocketed. I would venture to guess it's probably more in the 25-26% now versus 2019. And then on the financing on the bank side, institutional side, the federal funds rate has increased, I would say even more than this, but 4.75 to 5% since 2022. And then when we talk about this particular location, there is an under-established true Class A+ type of product within that market that we're trying to establish. Next slide. So as we look at the tax generation from the project that we're proposing, we're looking at about a $9.3+ million impact on the property tax side. So that's about $8 million, a little bit more than $8 million on the residential side, with about 1.275, give or take, million on the retail office side. And that is across a 25-year period post-construction. Obviously, with the open field as it is now, publicly owned, it generates $0. On the sales tax side, we are estimating based on fairly conservative estimates, but we're looking at generating about $12.67 million in sales tax generation across a 25-year period. Again, publicly owned ground that's currently producing $0. So combined, we're almost at $22 million across 25 years. And then about the ripple effect I kind of mentioned before, but it's not just that we're generating tax revenue, but also during construction we have numerous people visiting our site and producing the product that we're talking about. Those people in turn have to get gas, they've got to get lunch, they've got to get dinner, groceries. They're more likely to do that within a 1 to 2 mile radius of a construction site. So based on the National Association of Home Builders, during construction, the total economic impact for a community is a little over $37 million. And then taxes and other revenue for local governments is around $7 million. And we would produce about 518 jobs during construction. And that is on the 322 units of the apartment. So this doesn't even count the retail office. And then annual reoccurring, so once we open it and we stabilize it, it's going to produce around $8.37 million to the local economy, and then about 1.6 million, we'll say, in taxes to the local governments in the area. And then the ripple effect, creating 142 jobs both on site and then direct and indirect jobs, the ripple effect. Next slide. You want these people in Blue Springs. If you look at our projects and other comparable projects in Class A+, their median income is around $92,000, and this is from 2020. So this is probably before COVID. Post-COVID, that number's probably increased. And then I wanted to show a couple numbers as an example. Class B apartments, so the open breezeway, a decent product, but it's a Class B, is around $57,000 per capita income. And then I pulled the 2021 American Community Survey 5-year estimate. I'm sure it's probably been updated, but the per capita income is $35,000 plus inside Blue Springs. Next slide. And also, when you look at the KC Metro as a whole, the elevated income trajectory is massive. It is the fastest growing segment of demographics in the KC Metro area. So as you have these people coming into the Kansas City area, the Taylor Swift effect, or folks looking to move around the KC Metro, it's a very fast growing segment of the overall dynamic. So we've had an 82%, this is a little older number, so I gotta get a little more updated here, but even from 2010 to 2018, we've had an 82% increase in that income level. And during our conversations with the review committee and others, they asked and mentioned, okay, what's the impact potentially for the school district? And we've done some research as best we can, talking to other developers, property managers, other elected officials, other presentations to elected officials. And these are the numbers that we've come up with, and they vary depending on location and the product type. You can kind of see the numbers we tend to look at is the number of students per 100 units. That's a nice even base. You can see we're from 2 to 5 to 6 students per 100. When you look at a true Class A plus distinctive product, you're not getting a whole lot of 2 and 3 bedroom units, and as such, naturally, there is a lower level of school-age children generated from that project alone. Excellent. That is it for our formal presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions, and those that I can, I'm happy to go back and research and get the answers back to you all. Thank you very much for your time.
Any questions for the developer, from Mr. Tapp here from the council? Well, I've got a couple, then I'll let them think about it for a little bit. So we had the benefit of seeing this presentation before, so just for the record, what's kind of your timeline of construction? Are you planning on doing phases between the retail side and the apartments? What does that look like for the community?
I would say from the apartment's perspective, we go in one large phase. Now, it'll take time, the construction cycle per building, as you saw at Blackwell. You can't do 4, 5, 6 buildings at one time, so you will have a kind of a staged approach. The retail typically, and I always stress that, you guys have heard this from me before, I know, but retail typically follows rooftops, not the other way around. So ideally, in order to attract those high-end retail or office users, you want to build the beautiful apartments behind it, and then they will be more likely to locate there. So that would probably be if I answer your question, that'd be the kind of phasing as we do the apartments, and then the retail will quickly come behind that.
What kind of timeline do you expect construction to look like?
Typically, in a perfect scenario, we're looking at 18 to 24 months, depends on a number of factors.
Sure.
One of which is cargo ships going across the little ponds to get to us. So there's a lot of factors, and Jay could definitely chime in more, but we're probably looking at about an 18 to 24 month process. Yeah.
Jake Lovelace, Griffin Riley Property Group. Unfortunately, timeframes are extending. It seems like every year projects get a little bit longer and longer for us. So while a few years ago, 18 to 24 months would have been spot on, I would say today it's probably closer to 24 to 32 months, something like that, as far as the construction completion time by the time you factor in all of the site development work that has to happen on these big sites like this too. And so the vertical construction, it may only take us 24 months, 18 to 24 months to get that done. But the site development work can tack on and add another, up to a year, depending on what all you run into, stuff that's underground that you don't see and things of that nature.
Thank you. Any other questions from council?
Got a question.
Member Brumman.
What was the breakdown on units? How many 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 2 with a den that you guys are calling like a third bedroom? Is that right?
Typically we focus mostly on studios and 1 bedroom, so that is roughly 60% of units, and then we have probably 30%. I'm doing that right, Jay? Probably about 30% of 2 bedroom, and then 10% of 3 bedroom, give or take. We're doing more studio and 1 bedroom now than before.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the council?
It is real quick, by the way, too. A growing trend is 1 bedroom plus den. And so it's not technically a 2 bedroom, but as we've seen post-COVID, a lot more folks have a little more flexibility in work. And so that den is a natural office if folks so desire. So we've found that that's been a really popular. Also, in a lot of our clubhouses, we have some workstations, and then also conference rooms. We find that, again, more and more folks are working from home, at least part-time. So they do like to have that little getaway, so they're not in their apartment, but they're in a nice amenity-filled clubhouse and can meet clients or whatnot in the conference room.
And to reiterate, we don't have anything like this that you've seen in Blue Springs, correct? This is going to be something new for Blue Springs, the image and...
Yes, correct. You are correct. As best I'm aware, I don't know of any true Class A+, truly luxury apartments inside Blue Springs. Elevator service, enclosed hallways. You saw the clubhouse at Blackwell, tons of amenity choices, indoor and outdoor. So, yeah.
Councilmember Culpepper.
On your amenities, I'm assuming each building has their own set of amenities?
We tend to focus all of our amenities on the clubhouse. The reason for that is that it's a nice centralized location, so all 6 buildings have equidistant or close to equidistant access to the amenities.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I know that the classifications of apartments, but will these have like separate laundry rooms in each apartment and that sort of thing where you don't have to have those common area rooms?
Yes, each unit will have washer dryer units, so yes.
Okay.
Councilmember Edmondson.
Oh, looking at some of the, one in on your presentation and stuff, so going by what you presented here, this is going in at a really nice place with a really nice golf course behind it that's well attended, and looking at the buildings, how you made it look at least attractive on it. Hopefully the back sides are as good as the front sides, because we'd like to keep that vision there as opposed to what, having something that's just plain and flat. But it's nice seeing that kind of imagination being put out.
We firmly believe in what's called four-sided architecture, so front, sides, and rear. We bring in certain architectural elements in the rear as well to not be a flat box. Yes.
Yeah, I
Plus,
think it'd be a good addition to the golf course.
Exactly, yes. We want to have those look nice so that those folks that rent there looking out over the golf course have a high-quality product.
Can you address the management of the facilities?
Yes, so as it stands now, we tend to contract with a third party, and it's the same company we've done for almost all the projects I've shown you on the slides. They're called Willowbridge. They're the 4th or 5th largest across the nation, so they're very prominent in Kansas City, and they do in our opinion, do a fantastic job.
Are they on site?
Yes, on site. In the clubhouse, we have a leasing office, and the management as well.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I've heard you say a couple times with the front retail, the front commercial side of it, kind of an office flex. I think maybe that was added later to kind of lead towards that job creation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to speak for everybody. I think the intent is as much as possible retail, restaurants. That's kind of that next level amenities we've been looking for in Blue Springs. So do you have any idea of what that process will look like? I know you have no tenants whatsoever. But, what does that attraction process look like for you?
Sure, yeah, great question. So first off, we're very excited for Blue Springs, and we've already fielded some conversations with some brokers and they're called tenant reps, but the reps of the different retails and restaurants. So I think there's some pent-up demand for high-quality locations in Blue Springs. As a matter of fact, your economic development director just informed me of one tonight that I'm pretty excited about. So we'll talk more about that. We'd love to have them join our team there. It'd be fantastic. A lot of times what you find there, Mayor, is if you get a high quality restaurant that has nice outdoor entertainment, each one piggybacks off the other. A ton of our residents will come there and vice versa. So to the attraction standpoint, we tend to hire a prominent brokerage company in Kansas City. We'll probably talk to a couple, mainly ones that have experience in Blue Springs, know the Blue Springs market, and know the people they've already talked to probably about Blue Springs. And so we'll work towards attracting the very top tier retails, restaurants, and certainly office users. There's always demand for dental and orthodontics and all those things. So yes. I wish there was more space, because if we had more room there, I'm sorry, Councilmember, if we had more room, we'd probably have more room to look at some, second story office or something like that. But it just is not enough in that because it's more narrower with Adams Dairy, and then it's a beautiful golf course, but it kind of narrows the side a little bit.
Sure. Councilmember Erickson.
Could you tell me, I'll have two questions, I think, but the square footage of buildable space that's for office or whatever you want to call it, for retail, restaurant, et cetera, do you have, I think you mentioned it in here, how many acres is that, or how many square feet of space would that be?
I can get back to you on that, council member. I don't have the acreage at the top of my head, but on square footage wise, Josh might be able to zoom in on it. I want to say it's across two buildings. I want to say one was 16,000, the other was like 8,000. So
Okay.
I think it was around 24,000, but I should have had written that down. My apologies, but
Well,
I can certainly get that to you.
That leads to it, because I think that's what I picked up out of the thing, but then, as I understand it, you'll build to suit as opposed to build and then have somebody like what you build, is that correct?
Our first attempt, or our preference is to have a build to suit where, I don't want to name names, but rather prominent restaurant, outdoor activity, outdoor entertainment. Okay, it is 24,000 square feet, by the way, council
Thank you.
member. Thank you. But we will do everything we can to attract build to suit type of users, because those tend to be high activity centers with strong sales tax generators. And that's a self-fulfilling prophecy too, by the way. If you establish a CID or community improvement district, it's sales tax based. So you want to attract as many sales tax generators as you can to your area. So to your point, we focus on build to suit, and then we also then would do a speculative on a portion of the retail office.
Thank you, I like the build to suit idea a lot, I just wanted to say it so I could say that, so.
That's always our preference. It kind of makes it easier.
All right, we appreciate you taking our questions.
Thank
For
you.
all that information. That's it for the presentation portion. The next item is a resolution regarding this property. I'll just need a motion to approve resolution 14/2025.
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And is there any discussion?
Glad to see this happening.
Yeah.
We've been looking for a while. We've looked at a lot of different plans. So I think this is gonna be a great addition. I like the A-plus apartment arrangement, and I like having some sort of retail and the forefront. So, looking forward to it.
I will just echo those comments, Councilmember Culpepper. I know we get comments a lot in the community about apartments in general, but this has been the consistent message for a while, that if we were going to do some apartments like this, it would be in a good location. There's no single-family residential around this. It's Class A, which is Councilmember Thola mentioned. We don't have maybe Major Lux. It would be a close example of that. So this is a product in the market that we don't have in Blue Springs. As the presentation mentioned, it's the type of resident that leads to the amenities that we've heard from the community for a long time that we want more of. The retail and the higher end restaurants, all of the cities we get compared to, this is the thing that they are doing to lead to the type of amenities that they want in their community. So I echo Councilmember Culpepper's comments. I think this will be a great addition to the community. I see Mr. Reisinger in the audience too. His single family development of the links will also be a great addition to this area. So really going to be some great development happening there on Adamsbury Parkway. So appreciate the presentation. With that, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, next is the visitors section. I don't have any visitor appearance forms. I don't see anybody in the audience flagging me down that they just can't wait to say something. So we'll go to council member comments. Does any council members have anything to add this evening? No? Well, I've got several then, so I'll make up the difference here. So we had the mayor's State of the City address last week, and with that kicked off our strategic planning process. So if you haven't already seen all of the social media, all of the newsletter has had a link to our strategic planning social pinpoint site. So all the residents can go on this site, actually tell us exactly what you want developed, what areas you want it developed in, what kind of amenities you still expect from the community. This process, is probably the most comprehensive strategic planning process we've ever done, or at least in my time in a long while, and will tell us what we want the city to look like for the next 5-10 years. And so it's really important that we get broad community participation. The more people that engage, the more people tell us what they want the city to look like, the better decisions and the more informed decisions we're gonna make. And so I would encourage you to participate in that. There's a link on the city's website. If you're on Facebook, you can go to the Facebook page. Lots of opportunities to do that. To fulfill, I know it seems like it's been forever ago, but this has been the first council meeting we have had since the fated Super Bowl, where the Kansas City Chiefs unfortunately lost Super Bowl, what was that, 47? And so I lost a bet. So I have my Eagles hat that I have to wear for this council meeting. So I want to say thank you to President Hecker and the Abington Township Board of Commissions. So they have a little bit different government structure, but I will just say, I'll be entirely honest and say, I made that bet really expecting not to lose. And so I thought it was a foregone conclusion and we were gonna all be eating some cheesesteak up here. But no, I have this hat on, and so I'm fulfilling my obligation. I also sent them some Zarda barbecue, so I appreciate Mike Ronchetto, the GM there at Zarda, for helping me out with that as well. And so they were eating good last week, and now I got to wear an Eagles hat for a couple of
I
minutes.
hope
here.
you're sending him a picture of this.
I will get a picture. I'll have Brian take a good one here with the city behind me, so I can tell him. And then it's on camera now too, so can't do that. But speaking of Eagles, during the mayor's State of the City address, I teased an announcement that the city's been holding on to, and the council is sworn to secrecy and almost bursting at the seams to tell anybody about it. Councilmember Kaler, look, he's just ready there. So the city of Blue Springs, in partnership with Missouri Department of Conservation and Wild Souls, has an Eagle Cam, a live Eagle Cam that is set up at an eagle's nest here in the Blue Springs area. And so it will go out, a press release will go out tomorrow. It is live now. There'll be a YouTube link, and the two eagles are nesting currently. We expect that eggs will be laid any time now. Could happen tonight, could have already happened. I don't know if we have checked it today. So that will be a great educational opportunity for the residents to see nature in action. It does come with a disclaimer that it is National Geographic. They're wild animals, and anything can happen when you turn on that camera. So we'll notify the school so that they can share it with the kids. Also appreciate Department of Conservation, Wild Souls for helping us out with that. It is the only live Eagle Cam in the state of Missouri. There are others around the country, but I think there's the only one in quite the multi-state region as well. So pretty cool deal, pretty cool to have this partnership to provide this opportunity to the community. So press release will go out tomorrow. You'll get the link, and you can just leave it on and watch Eagles all day long if you want to. Have you checked today? Are they in the nest, Brian? Do you know? They're not. Okay. Oh, okay. So our city administrator tells us that the female eagle is in the nest right now. So when you get home tomorrow, you can check it out. I also have with me tonight is my wife, but also my two children. Specifically, today is Emily's birthday, and she's spending it here with us at a city council meeting. Can you wave at them in so they can see you? There she is. So she is 10 whole years old, and we already had a little fun, went to a little putt-putt, and we'll go eat at a place that she chooses later. So thanks for spending your birthday with us. With that, I will accept Councilman Erickson.
I couldn't do this earlier because I didn't want to take away from your Eagle thing.
Sure.
On March the 1st in the Washington Post, there was an article about Big Bear Valley, California, where the eggs of the Eagle Cam, the eggs that were featured on the Eagle Cam failed, and they're hoping for triplets this year. So we are right in that with Big Bear Valley, California. I thought it was very timely.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say it. I didn't want to say it before you mentioned it, though. So.
I appreciate you withholding those comments. Councilmember Kayla, do you have anything to add now that it's public information?
I'm speechless.
That's a rare opportunity there.
Yeah.
Lots of exciting things happen. Appreciate everybody sticking with us. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion passes. We are adjourned.
Thank you, guys.